What's up, fam? I got a cool question on the Mountain Dog private Facebook forum the other day, which you guys should probably join if you haven't already, about my daily schedule during contest prep. And I thought that was a really cool question because, as the person explained, it kind of shows how you can fit training and dieting and making sure you get enough rest and all that other stuff into a busy day. So that's what I'm going to do. My day is pretty straightforward, guys. I have the luxury of working for myself. Luxury and curse. If you've ever worked for yourself, you know you have a lot of freedom, a lot of flexibility in terms of scheduling, in terms of, what tasks you're working on from day to day, in terms of pacing yourself, etc., etc. But at the same time, there's a lot of pressure that comes from that. It makes it very difficult to take days off, without feeling guilty. You don't really have that same sense of security that you would get from a regular 9 to 5. So I want to talk about how that affects me. And I want to talk about how if you do have a regular 9 to 5, you can still fit all these different activities in. So usually I'll wake up sometime around 8:30. I try to eat breakfast right away. I'm not always hungry first thing in the morning, but usually first thing in the morning I can eat. So I'll make breakfast and check out my full day of eating video, which will be on the Granite channel to see what I'm eating with John's plan. Eat breakfast, and then I like to crank out these videos. If I'm going to do one for the day, I like to crank it out first thing in the morning. And so if you wonder why my beard always looks so scruffy, that's why. I ain't showered, I ain't, done any of that stuff. My teeth ain't brushed, I'm not going to lie, I just had breakfast, guys. So fortunately, you can't smell my breath, but I find that if I don't do these right away, I kind of lose that momentum, I lose that focus, and then they don't get done. So this is an example of the type of trade-offs that you'll have to make, or the type of self-awareness you might need if you're going to try and fit any type of work into a bodybuilding lifestyle. So that's an example of one of mine. But generally, I'll finish breakfast around 9, and from 9 to about 11:30, I'll try and catch up on my different forms of work. That might involve writing for Elite FTS, for Barband, for Granite, for whomever. It might involve filming these videos. It might involve catching up with the programming or the questions that I get from the athletes that I coach one-on-one. There's a million different things that I'll do throughout the course of the day, but it's kind of cool because I get to choose what I want to do that particular day, and I can choose what fits my particular schedule. So that'll be, typically, that's 9 to 11:30. I follow a very regular schedule. I'll talk about that more in a little bit. At 11:30, I have my pre-workout concoction bowl. And then between 11:30 and 12:30, when I actually go to the gym, I try to make some me time because it really helps me to focus, and it really helps me to, I feel, get the very most out of my training. So what I'll do, I'll have a quick power nap, 20 minutes after my pre-workout meal. I always set an alarm so that I don't oversleep. 20 to 45 minutes is the most you ever want to nap. 45 minutes kind of difficult to squeeze in for a lot of people. So quick power nap, then I'll meditate. And I'll spend, I try to spend 15, 20 minutes on meditating before and after training, which is a lot of time, but I feel like it really helps me mentally, it helps me focus, and it helps me unwind, so it also helps me recover. I feel like it's a valuable activity for me, even though that is, quite a bit of time. Then I'll have my pre-workout drink, which is premium from Granite, duh, and get ready for the gym. Drive to the gym, I'll train. My training takes a while. I probably spend a total of 3 hours between driving to the gym, training, practicing posing afterwards, driving home, and then eating my post-workout meal. So, that's a solid chunk of time. I really like scheduling it in the middle of the day, though. That's when my body feels the best. That's when I'm, the most awake, the most focused, feel the strongest, feel full because I've had 2 meals in, but I don't feel bloated or sluggish or sleepy, because I've had 3 or 4. So that's when I like to train. I also really like breaking up my day, getting a few hours of work in the morning where I'm still, there's usually some easy tasks I can crank out without having to think too hard, which I'm not good at in the morning. But at the same time, I'm not wasting that time. I'm making good use of a time when maybe my brain's not actually at its best. My body's not actually at its best, but it's getting it. After my training, that's when I do the bulk of my work. So let's say from roughly 4 to 10 at night. And again, I have that flexibility to work whenever I want. I work best then, so I'll crank out all that other stuff. Generally the same stuff I'll do in the morning, but I save the more challenging stuff. So if I'm actually writing a program, if I'm writing an article, editing these videos, which for me is a pain in the fucking ass because I don't know what I'm doing. All that sort of stuff I'll save for the afternoon. And during that time from 4 to 10, because I'm working from home, I can eat whenever I want. And generally I'll eat around 5:36, so about an hour and a half, 2 hours after that post-workout meal, which digests very quickly. And then I'll eat again around 8, 8:30. And those meals are both the same. Again, you can check them out on the other video. After about 10 p.m., I'll try and spend at least an hour unwinding. That'll be something super calm, no screens. Typically it's reading, maybe it's doing a puzzle, something very, very low-key. I do watch Jeopardy every day, so got to squeeze in that half hour, but other than that, I try to keep it very low-key so that I can start unwinding for the night. I do have one more meal before bed, and I'll take my daily supplements before bed too, just because that's when I remember. But I try to get in bed by 12 or 12:30, which gives me a full 8 hours of sleep, plus that little nap I took before training. So I'm plenty rested, plenty of time for recovery, plenty of time to unwind, still got all my work in for the day. The problem is, you can see, this works extraordinarily well for me. I really enjoy this lifestyle. I really enjoy following, in general, a regular schedule. It makes me feel comfortable. I can, I have the flexibility to determine what that schedule is, so it's a real nice setup for me. I know a lot of people don't enjoy that at all. They like their days to be different, right? They don't want every day to feel pretty similar. So if that's the case, or most people work 9 to 5s, right? If that's the case, there's no reason you can't fit those same activities into your day. You're just going to have to make different trade-offs, right? So if my trade-offs are working late at night because that's when my body feels the best, well, maybe your trade-offs are working early in the morning because that's when you have the time to do it. Training earlier in the morning because that's when you have the time to do it. Maybe it means you go to bed earlier than, you'd really prefer. You really like to stay up and watch that rerun of Game of Thrones. But, hey, I have to go to work in the morning. I have to train before work, so I got to go to bed now. Those types of things, really important to have that self-awareness so that you're able to manage this over the long term. It's really easy to say, I'm going to go out and I'm going to follow this super, monk-like schedule where I'm getting up at 3 in the morning and, I'm grinding out my training and I'm all hardcore and blah, blah, blah. And then after a week, you're like, fuck this shit. And you just go back to your normal, where your training's hit or miss. So it's much more valuable to have a sustainable plan. And this was just an example of how I've done that for myself. I imagine there's going to be a lot of questions from people. I have gotten people with the most demanding schedules you can even imagine. Guys in the military, active duty, right, who still have time to fit their training and their dieting in. Guys who have, huge families. We're talking 3 or 4 kids, full-time jobs, other, extended families, blah, blah, blah. They're able to fit it in. I've also heard sob stories from guys who are in undergrad who are like, I have no time for this. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I've had some fun in undergrad, too. You have plenty of fucking time, okay? So that's not really a valid excuse for the vast majority of people. Obviously, there are going to be exceptions, right? President of the United States, probably not going to make a great bodybuilder. For various reasons. But, that type of schedule, it's not really going to lend itself to at least a competitive bodybuilding lifestyle. Not a competitive lifestyle for anything other than that type of career. Again, that's an example of a trade-off. If your career is more important to you and it requires that you spend so much time that you can't devote 110% effort to diet and training, that's okay. You can still get phenomenal results putting in 80% of the effort, and that's a lot easier. It leaves you that extra 20%, which is often the most draining, for what you really value. I hope you found this kind of interesting. I'm going to follow up with an article on Elite FTS. We'll blast that out to the Granite people as well. And, let me know what kind of topics you want to see. I saw some criticism in the last video that said it was too simple. And, I explained why I take that approach. And I got only positive comments from the people who actually took the time to comment. So I do read those. Since I've started getting a lot more negativity, I'm not answering all of them, but I do make sure I read them and take the constructive criticism to heart. So if this wasn't a valuable topic to you, let me know. Let me know what you do want to see. Let me know what you don't want to see, more of, less of, etc., etc. I'm happy to help. I just ask that you support my sponsors who help me to be the best athlete I can be. So that would be great. I'll see y'all next time. We'll get back to one of the series we got going on. Probably a little Big Ben update, talk about meat prep with John. And I'll see you next time. Till then, think strong, train hard.